LoZ Comic Book Club.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Legion on Zoom. It's a pleasure to see you all. It's a pleasure to hear you all. And also, I've noticed we got some fans out in Brazil. I don't know how to say hello in Brazil, but what's up, guys? And as you all know, this is Chess.
Yo, I was thinking, it's like, hello, everybody, this is Miguel. I've actually been to Brazil. I've been to Rio a couple of when you could travel in 2019. Fuck, how do I say? Because obrigado is, I think that's just thank you. So, for our Brazilian fans out there, let us know. We're not going to Google it. We could Google it right now, but fuck that. We want you to reach out to us on our social media, on Twitter, Legion on Zoom, on Instagram, Legion on Zoom, and tell us, how would you like us to address you from Brazil?
Word. And this is Rod. What's up?
People, and as you saw on our Instagram, thank you, Miguel, for letting me know. Obrigado, people. So, yeah, there you go. So, as you guys saw on our Instagram, and as we mentioned a couple of episodes ago, this is our infamous and hopefully one day famous book club discussion. That's my impression of Oprah.
That was exactly the same. Igualito, compa, igualito.
Hopefully that worked out. And as you guys saw in the post as well, we're doing the Swamp Thing, not by Neil Gaiman, as I had stated, so I don't get sued, but by Alan Moore.
Yeah, his DC compatriots.
Facts. Appear in things that are type freaky in the mind and such. And wow, I must say, just right off the bat, this might be, like, aside from a slight toe dip in Constantine, the longest I've read a comic book this old.
Yo, for real too. Like, while reading this book, because we're talking, right, this is a Swamp Thing volume 1 of, or book 1, actually, not volume 1, book 1 of the Alan Moore book with what is it, Stephen Bissette, right, the art.
Yes.
Which was published when we should have had this information, because I felt the same way when I'm reading it. I'm like, I don't remember when's the last time I've read like an old comic book.
Facts.
Like, it feels very old, and it probably is what, late 70s, early 80s, maybe, when it came out. It was before Watchmen,
1982, right? So it's older than us.
Yeah, man.
Yo, that shit was amidst the AIDS crisis, crack. Fuck.
Shit was written in the age of turmoil.
Shit was real.
Hell yeah. Like, Reagan was president, right, during that time, man. Shit was going on, man.
Yo, when they created Swamp Thing, the CIA was selling crack in the streets to fund the Fuck, man. Yeah. Yo, shit was...
that issue when Swamp Thing fought the crack dealers and the Sandinistas and the government was impressive. It's actually very, very on point for Alan Moore.
Word. That was insane. And now, I'm glad that my first 2 dips into stuff this old, because all right, I'm not gonna lie, as a point of reference, the oldest thing I've read that my eyes could take was like Marvel versus DC. That's, my eyes could process only that far, and then be
that's like 95.
Yeah. Although I think I did read Archer's Quest once while I was in high school, but aside from that, is like,
that was after, I think. Right? Archer's Quest? Yeah, for sure.
Fuck, that's crazy. But yeah, like, I'm not that fan. Like, I'll say it, I might sound like a dick. I'm not a fan of really like golden age type, silver age, I believe.
Yeah.
Type. I can't, my eyes can't, it hurts.
It's funny because I didn't have this thought at all, like, on how like dated it was. But now that I think about it, like, it is kind of crude in comparison. But of course, compare
that shit to Hush.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't call it crude. I wouldn't call it crude. I would just say it's very, in some things, I wish they still did it today. Like, because one, like the art. Bissette's art is fucking creepy as fuck in the most like complimentary way possible. Like, and it's like, it's not really panels a lot, right? It's like images, like one image will have Swamp Thing's face as half of it, and there's like a bottom piece of it is like the dialogue and another scene, and it's not like traditional panels where current artists now, modern ones, contemporaneous one, will try to mix things up and make some cool but it still falls within panels. This was something else, and I actually really liked. At the beginning, it was weird to kind of get used to that, but I liked it then because it goes with the fucking feel of the book. The part that I felt was dated to some degree, just a little bit actually, was the obviously the quality also of the, you could see the quality is it's different from back then from it is now. No, like you could almost see like, what is it, like the little dots of the, you know, of the old school comic books, not like that, but like the text too. I feel like dialogues back then were very verbose, were very like long-winded, and so many text boxes explaining everything, which we don't really do now.
That was pre-internet, bro.
Right.
Word.
Point that out too. Oh shit, there was no internet. Fuck, Alan Moore was just out there in the dark.
Or like internet existed, but it was only a few companies or something. It was a room that had to have a computer, one computer throughout the whole room. But yeah,
I take back my comment. Was it Steven Bissette? Is that his name?
Bissette.
Bissette. Yeah. And I mean, it's only, I guess it's not as polished like to a current artist, but yeah, it is in its own way beautiful. And I think a lot of, because I've never read anything Swamp Thing prior to this. Like this is like
same.
The first imagery I ever saw growing up of Swamp Thing was the way he drew the character, and it's carried over like throughout the years. I'm not sure if he had a major hand in designing like the Swamp Thing that we know today, or if a previous artist did. But yeah, this was definitely my intro, and this book does serve as an intro to the character as well, because right off the bat, you know, you start the first issue and he just ended his like epic battle with Arcane, who's his arch nemesis. Nobody knows much about him.
Yeah, word. I was gonna say, like, did they really explain who Arcane was?
They didn't. They just like kind of say like, okay, the previous Swamp Thing's story ended, and this is a brand new story for new readers to jump in.
Right, because it's not like Alan Moore created Swamp Thing and it's a reboot or anything like that. No, like
that's an arc by Alan Moore.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Swamp Thing's been running like this issue. I don't know, was Swamp Thing number. I don't know what the fuck
in the 70s or some shit. Like
that.
Exactly.
I'm actually looking at it right now. It was
that's funny. I didn't even
issue 20. Issue 20, January 1984. It says this one. Shit. So he might have started writing on and off Swamp Thing, I think right before that, but it was somebody else been writing Swamp Thing. And then so that's why like this kind of, it starts kind of weird in that way, right? Where it's like, wait, what just happened? Arcane died, and
word.
It's like a big deal, and like then Swamp Thing's like lost, like what do I do next, right? Like but then at that point it's like we don't really need to know about Arcane at that point.
Props to Swamp Thing though for like, okay, and real quick, I want to turn back because I want to say I'm glad that we started with this because it felt very rewarding to read something this old that was kind of annoying to take into the art, but it was so beautiful to see though, because of what Miguel said with the panels and shit. Like I'm glad we started with this if we went back that far. But props to Swamp Thing for being so thorough and going to check to make sure Arcane died. Like fuck, they must have had a tumultuous relationship. Like he wanted to know. Like the first panel was just like, "Are you dead? I need to know that you're dead. Like I'm gonna go find your body and make sure. Like I want to hold you and see you dead." So props to Swamp Thing for that. I respect that.
Did this book make either of you feel like disgusting to be, made of blood and meat and bone and shit like that? Because I was thinking like, this has a huge creep factor for me. Like this book, like it deals with a lot of like rot and the way flesh rots, and then Arcane is like the opposite of Swamp Thing, who's like the earth, right? And then he's like vibrant and beautiful, and then I don't know, it was just like, and there's like a lot of imagery too of like,
don't you mean the Floronic Man?
Yeah,
you said Arcane. Like they didn't show Arcane.
Arcane is like the rot. He's tied to the rot.
Oh, okay. I mean,
because he died and he's rotting. But I don't really know much about Arcane actually as a character.
Yeah, he is. And Abby Arcane, his daughter,
Right.
she's also tied to that part of the spectrum, this like elemental spectrum or some
Yeah,
shit.
we shouldn't gloss over that. That's kind of big. So people know. So like as a parallel, kind of, it could be compared to the emotional spectrum with all the Green Lantern rings. There's something I want to say a bit more primordial. Guys, stop me when I ever hit anything wrong. So like it's kind of like there's different fields to like all of existence. There's the green, there's the red, there's the black, and there's the gray, right? I think if
I don't know about
I
any of
believe
that
so.
really.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No. So the green is like people who are like elementals, I guess. They're connected to like the spirit of all living things. You have like Swamp Thing, you have Poison Ivy, and people who do planty stuff. You know, like they're probably vegan, eat tofu, all that shit. So they're like agents of the green. Then
Right,
you have
okay.
No, go ahead.
No, and what's cool about that, because one thing about this book, what I love, right, is like you really only needed to have some basic understanding of Swamp Thing, because Alan Moore really recreated Swamp Thing by introducing even I think the concepts of the green was
Oh, that's dope.
incorporated in this book. You know, when Swamp Thing like quote like he gives up, right, which we'll get into, like, and he starts to just like become one with the swamp and he goes fucking away. But like you're saying, some people have connections with that, right? And then eventually he comes back, because the Floronic Man, which is what the main villain basically of this whole book one, he's made of fucking plants and shit, but he doesn't have that connection with the green until he confronts Swamp Thing. And then he's able to, I don't know how he did it, like fucking comic book goodness. He connects with the green, but then he goes fucking insane because of it, right? And then he tries that fucking the Justice League is going to get involved because he's killing mad people in fucking Louisiana.
By the way, seeing that cover with the Justice League was super dope. I wasn't expecting that. Like when I flipped the cover in this, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you almost forget that he's in this larger universe.
It feels mad isolated. So the Floronic Man, he eventually mentions like the red world. There's also the red, which people like Beast Boy have a connection to it. Animal Man, people that are essentially connected to animals, that are connected to fauna, not flora. So so there's essentially, and then there's the rot, which are people that have to do with like decay, fucking like
Solomon
Grundy has a connection to the rot. I guess Abby Arcane, so they're like a more primordial version of the emotional spectrum. It's funky. That shit is crazy.
Yeah. And also the show that only lasted one season took a lot from this book.
So much. Have you not seen it?
I felt that I saw it, but I felt like it was just a framework. I felt like, if they would have used a bunch of this shit in the show, it would have been better. Like, did they use the green? Did it get philosophical? I think they just took the gory aesthetic aspects. I don't remember it.
No, it didn't get to that point of getting into the green, because it was all about fucking what is Swamp Thing, which is something I realized, like, you know, there was basically two big things. Book one, Alan Moore, that was recreated for the fucking show, and they were setting it up for the next stuff, right? Because like the scientist in fucking the show that's trying to save his wife, and then ends up, you know, helping hunt Swamp Thing on the show, right? And then cuts him up, and that gory anatomy, the anatomy scene of cutting him up, that's fucking in the book. That was Alan Moore, but that was in the show, and that is the Floronic Man. The scientist is the Floronic Man, but he didn't become the Floronic Man yet, and we didn't get to see that. So that's one of the things that's incorporated.
Although there is an image floating of how he would have looked in season 2. It looks fucking awesome.
What they took from the book was just like framework shit, but they didn't take any of the substance.
Nope. They got the biggest one, actually. They got one of the biggest substance that I didn't know about. So up until Alan Moore's book, people thought that, and you'll see even the characters thought that Swamp Thing was Alec Holland, that he was out. So he's a human that got transformed into Swamp Thing. And Alan Moore's run made it very clear that no, that Alec Holland is dead. Swamp Thing is a monster. Like, he is his own separate being that has like, como se dice, like echoes of this person that he was in contact with because of the weird chemistry shit. But but that was huge in the book. Like when Swamp Thing realizes that he is not human, that he is not Alec, that's when he quits and he's like, fuck it. And in the show, they did that. They showed us in the show towards the end that no, Alec is dead, and Swamp Thing, you are something else. You're not actually Alec, although you think you are because of how you came to be. And that's some existential substance fucking shit right there. That's Alan Moore,
like,
baby.
I saw that shit. I was like, that's a mood. Have you ever felt like he felt when he was in the swamp, just giving up? Have you been in, yeah. Have you ever been in bed and just like staring to the abyss?
Yo, yes.
Damn, we all have been there. But yeah, it was a great scene where he goes and like rescues his own bones and buries himself.
That was.
Or
Imagine
not
all that
himself,
shit. Imagine all that shit if it would have been like in the show. Like they missed so much. Like they took all the least important shit. Like all they wanted was shock value. Like it was
hating on the show.
Yo,
I liked it. I
No,
wish
yeah.
they would have kept going with it.
aesthetically, it was great. It was great. If they would have somehow gotten more substance into it, like I felt like they missed out on so much. They missed
made
out
the
on so much.
Floronic Man creepy as fuck, man.
Word. Okay, and now fans. We're not gonna. What are you gonna say?
No, it's just because I feel because it was season 1. It was a setup, right? It was introducing us to Swamp Thing. So caring about Alec, caring about Abby Arcane and the villain, the other Arcane, the main guy, and then a Floronic Man. I think it set it up so well. Where like at the end, I was like, I hate Arcane and Floronic Man, but I love them, right? Like I love to fucking hate them and want to see what happens. And then seeing like, oh fuck, like you realize you're not Alec. Alec is dead, and what's gonna happen? It was a great setup, to go into deeper shit for season 2, but then fucking creative differences. And
but that's the thing, though. Just to put a nail in this coffin, it was canceled before the shit got released.
Yeah.
So they didn't even give it a chance to breathe. They were like, "We're gonna suffocate you at birth." That's dark, bro. Fuck.
Appropriate for Swamp Thing, man. Shit.
Fat OD. And just so the fans have some idea, like some background on Swamp Thing's origin. His name was Alec Holland. He was working to make what was it, bio-regenerative chemical or some shit like that, to be able to multiply crops and shit, like trying to end all like hunger on Earth or whatever. And the company that they keep mentioning didn't want to create it, Sunderland or some shit like that. They were like anti his whole thing or whatever. They sabotaged his experiment and blew up his lab, which apparently got him coated in this like plant-oriented chemical, and their headquarters was in the swamp. So the lab blew up, ran on fire, died in the muck of the swamp in the midst of it. Then the swamp's parasites ate him, and then the swamp itself gained this consciousness and created its own avatar of the green. And you have Swamp Thing, who still like had to go, like Miguel said, to like find out that he thinks he's still Alec Holland. Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. That's trippy shit. Is really, really amazing.
Yeah, it's for sure an adult-oriented comic book. Like it's not your typical fun DC comic. It reads almost like a drama at times. Because you follow like Abby Arcane and like her man, who's a total weirdo.
Oh, word, that sucked.
And wait, I forget, like, was it like Beelzebub was a villain in this shit? Or
all right, so let's be careful because Rod, you started reading book 2. Neither Tess and I have.
Ahead.
So don't because Rod, you said it perfectly, right? Because we have like it's focused, like Swamp Thing is, because it's weird because Swamp Thing is the main character, but also kind of not. Like all the other characters are almost equally as important. And we have Abby Arcane with her boyfriend,
who's
such a piece of shit. He's a creepy ass dude that has some magical powers, right?
Really? I thought it was just like he was such an alcoholic. He was hallucinating.
Maybe. But then we get, I guess, the Beelzebub. I can see that happening because what we get at the end of book 1 is that he gets in this horrible car accident. He's about to die. This is and it's pretty graphic, but like artistically, it's weak, and you can feel like like it's a drama. And then this little fly, like very well done fly, creepy as fuck, approaches him, telling him, "You don't have to die. I got you. I got you. Like, you don't have to die." And he's like, "All right, I'll do anything." And then all we see later that he's back healthy, that he didn't die. And we don't know what happened. So we're like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on? Like, this is creepy.
But then before all that, you also have fucking Jason Blood and Etrigan involved. So it's like all types of them. It's like all corners of like the magical domain in DC, which is big, get involved. for perspective on how powerful Swamp Thing is, way later down the road, mad decades later, what is it? What, during the Secret Six storyline, Swamp Thing actually fights Spectre himself. Just putting that out there, which is crazy. But anyway, back to where we were. Yeah, like, yo, that scene with the fly at the end, I would have loved to see that shit so live action. Oh my God, that was so creepy. Dude, it was so awesome.
Apparently, that's kind of one of the issues why the show fell apart, because apparently the showrunners, I think that's what the term would be, the people who were creating the show, wanted it to be that way, wanted it to be fucking creepy and horror. And really, I'm sure, you know, by what they showed so much, I'm sure that they were pretty influenced by Alan Moore. But apparently the producers were like, nah, like, let's not go that dark. And so they eventually, they were like, all right, we're out. And so that's why the show didn't happen, because they probably wanted that fly, and you're talking shit about the show, and they wanted to give you that fly, Chess.
Fair enough. But you see what I'm saying? Like, that's a deep moment. But did we even see any of the shit that was like with Abby and her boyfriend or any of that shit, like, in depth or not?
There was no boyfriend, no? Like, even on the show for Abby, that was no.
You see, once again,
right.
They just took weird framework shit. And did they explain the Floronic Man's origin or nah? I feel like that was missing.
Not in the book, no, not at all. Like, he's like an established villain and shit. Like, the Justice League speak of him like they know who the Floronic Man is, and they're like, he's never, because he got, like, as we were mentioning, the Floronic Man. His role in the fucking book is that he's hired by Sunderland to investigate Swamp Thing, and they eventually capture Swamp Thing, and they had this really epic scene where he gets gunned down.
Yeah, that's
and then they capture him, and they do this whole anatomy scene. And for whatever reason, something I didn't really understand, the Floronic Man ends up he kills Sunderland, right? Or no, what's the Swamp Thing? I'm not.
The Swamp Thing killed Sunderland. He smothered him to death.
Yes, you're right. Oh my God, that was intense.
Yeah, that was hot. I forgot all about that, actually. Oh, and one thing I could have done without. They could have left the price off the cover, because, like, come on, like, I know how much I'm paying for this shit. Like you're gonna fucking rub it in my face that it was like 75 cents. Like that. Like, I felt like I could have done with that on the cover too. Rod had mentioned that there was some cancelable moments. Can I take a stab at what they were?
Yeah, did you write it down or some shit?
No.
Okay, I'm mad. I didn't like have the specific. It was like 3 times.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Go for it. What
was one when the Aryan worms asked him if he was Jewish?
Damn, I don't know. I don't think I had that.
Wow, I don't even remember that one.
You remember when he's having the daydream that, like,
Swamp Thing is?
Yeah. That he says, like, we're like Aryan worms or some shit like that, and he asks him, like, are you Jewish?
No, it might have been one though.
Sure.
Oh my God.
2.
Okay.
Was it when they depicted the way that the black man was talking, the old black guy?
No. I peeped that. That was a little bit like, that was a bit too much, maybe. But I'll give Alan Moore some credit. I do feel that a lot of even the white characters did have a little of I could feel or hear their southern drawl. When written, which was surprising because Alan Moore's from fucking the UK, no? And so it's like I thought I was impressive. I'm like, did you spend some time in fucking in the bayou of Louisiana, fucking to do this? Like, I don't know, but you're right, but exactly. But then for the black character, that was very accentuated.
Listen, I think Alan Moore lives in the bayous of the UK. And all right, and 3, was it the way that they depicted the special needs kids?
Oh, that's one of them. That's like trickier to do nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And then but there was like I don't know, like toxic dialogue like about women. Like at one point, I think it's which character is like it's one of those yellow boxes. It's like, oh, she's like huddled away as women should be. You know?
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Which character is thinking that? Is that Swamp Thing, right?
I don't remember.
No, I think it was actually. Damn, something is toxic. The irony.
Was it? No, I don't want to.
See, Alan Moore is trying to show us that Swamp Thing is a monster. So they're adding this toxic, racist dialogue.
He's a true monster. Damn, that's fucked up. The one thing I did appreciate though was that he defeated the Floronic Man with straight philosophy. You don't see that too often being done anymore. Everything is like through brute force. He reasoned the shit out of him. But I did find a loophole in what he was saying, though. Was Floronic Man also killing animals or just humans?
I think anything that was like not meat, I think, right? Like mammals and shit, I think he was killing. Humans and animals, I think, yeah.
Because if that was the case, then yeah, your Swamp Thing just straight up. So as the fans do know, basically what he told them was like, if you're gonna kill everything, what's gonna turn all the oxygen is into carbon dioxide that we need to live. And that revelation was so crazy that it shattered his connection to the green. And he also gave him a self-analysis. He was like, the green didn't want to do this. You wanted to do this.
Oh, that was dope. Yeah. Yeah, because for the fans, like the scene was like, so because at some point Floronic Man goes so deep into the green, I don't remember exactly how, experimenting on Swamp Thing's fucking DNA and shit, and he loses his mind, right? And he goes all about like an extreme environmentalist, no, like at like fucking crazy terrorist level shit. He's like, humans and anything fucking that's not a plant is wrong. And I'm gonna kill all of you. And he levels up insane, like levels up. Even the Justice League is about to get involved because like so many people are dying. And even like I remember in the fucking when they're the Justice League, I think they're in the Watchtower. Was that a thing? Yeah, they were in space. They're like, he hasn't been this powerful before, right? Like, what's going on? But then exactly. So then at that point, because that all this is happening when Swamp Thing's in his fucking. Like he's like, I'm out. Like I'm dead. Fuck, I'm not Alec. I'm done. He's out. And then eventually he comes back because of that. And then like that epic philosophical moment. Like they fight. They do fight, of course. But fuck, like that was just cool, man.
And two things. One, the Justice League felt mad useless because like they didn't try to interfere at all. That was weird. There's like they like the whole time I was wondering, why aren't they just jumping in too? And before Swamp Thing stopped them, the Floronic Man did kill mad people. He killed mad people. That shit was crazy. And then after the fucking Floronic Man, you have people fucking straight up just summoning a monkey demon with a Ouija board. That whole shit bring Etrigan into the picture. And then like Rod said at the end, you have Satan apparently. Fuck, like where was Alan Moore going?
Yeah, I feel like that the horror element of the book really came out with that monkey demon.
Yeah,
like that's when I remembered. Oh yeah, this is a horror book because it's like I typically don't read like that genre of comic book. Like, oh yeah, horror comics. Like, but then like Swamp Thing is a superhero, so you'll read this, but then what it really is a horror story, and I think that one was done really well. It was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and it was several issues, I think, right? Of that because it built up beautifully for Etrigan, right? Because at the beginning we get like Jason Blood coming into town because he feels there's some negative fucking shit happening, and we're getting these images of this fucking creepy ass fucking monkey. Like we'll have it here. But one of the things that I loved about when Jason Blood was trying to reach the source of the evil is that he's bumping into people, right? And he's like to one person he's like I think he's like asking for something and he's like, no, you're not gonna need it because you're gonna die because of this or that. And they're like, what the fuck? And then I kind of even forgot that, and he does that with a few people, like I think 2 or 3 people or something. He can because your wife didn't buy this, you're gonna get killed by a swordfish or some shit like that. Yeah. And then eventually it leads to this crazy coincidence of different things happening. Some where
destination shit.
Exactly, where this person ends up getting impaled by a como si say, like a swordfish or something like that.
Decorative like swordfish.
Decorative, yes. It felt horror. It felt fucking like, oh shit.
That should have totally been in the show.
Yes,
like that episode. Like, I hope when they do Sandman for Netflix, they really stick to the comic book, because Sandman is, as I was reading Swamp Thing, I kept thinking about Sandman. I would imagine they came out around the same time. but it's another horror book that this prolific writer just took in a whole different direction. Because again, Sandman, you think about the JSA guy, right? But then
Wait, do we though? Like who?
I mean, I think about him. I don't know.
Do you?
But originally, right? And then Sandman became this like gothic Neil Gaiman caricature. I don't even know. Like, and it's a similar deal. It's more about, with both Sandman and Swamp Thing, it's more about the book and the overall lore running through the issues than it is about these central characters.
Morpheus, the character, became like an educated man's Jack Skellington in the goth world. But I cannot fucking wait to see. And to be honest, I think they are going to stick to it, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's one of those things that it's, if you stray from it, it's insanely easy to fuck that up.
And then I think it helps that Neil Gaiman is actually involved in the show, you know, so that has to weigh for something, you know, like he has to be able to, you know, I'm sure like I hope they respect him, right? And then the fucking screenwriters are like, Mr. Gaiman, what do you think about this? Is this good?
Do you think like Alan Moore's ever had that revelation when he's like sitting in his cave in the swamps of the UK? Like, if I never give input on my work that's being remade, it'll keep being done badly, but then I'll be angry and I won't keep giving input. Do you think he's ever cracked that vicious cycle?
All right, what's the best live action Alan Moore adaptation?
Fuck.
V for Vendetta.
Wow. One I never read. I've never read actually V for Vendetta.
It's good.
I don't know.
It's very good.
What's better, the movie V for Vendetta or the book? I never read the book.
It's the book is just more involved, but like I feel like the movie kind of gave you a good. I don't know who directed that, but I feel like the movie gave you a good. Although they end differently, kind of like Watchmen.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
If I were to, okay, I mean, what were his top movies? So you have Vendetta.
I never saw
V for Vendetta.
Hell.
Yeah,
I've seen the movies. I haven't read almost like anything of his, like none of the other one. Like I never read From Hell. From Hell was a good movie. I like that.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I saw.
That was his.
Yeah.
Sean Connery. Damn.
Yeah, he has adaptations.
I've seen that movie so many times. Damn, but low-key, that one's a guilty pleasure more than anything. That movie sucked and I love. But it's before its time, it was dope. It's very aesthetically pleasing, but the movie itself is like, eh. But damn, yeah. Comparing from, because me, it would fall down to either V for Vendetta or Watchmen.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yo, that's tough.
I gotta go with Watchmen.
You gotta go with Zack Snyder, bro. Come on.
I just didn't like the way they handled Silk Spectre at all.
Yeah,
I can't stand her in the movie. Not the old-fashioned one from the flashback scenes. Anyway, let's not get into this right now.
Silk Spectre 2, yeah.
But yeah.
But
V for Vendetta was fire.
Bro, that movie was like Oscar worthy, yo. Like when Natalie Portman gets out of the jail,
Yeah,
V for Vendetta.
Yo, shout out
she's
to
like
Joey.
in the rain. Facts.
Yo, my little brother Joey, he became V. Yo, I just woke up one morning, found him making breakfast. You know that egg thing. And he's in full costume and he's tall and shit. Yeah, Joey's fucking making those. He was obsessed with that character.
Okay, so
and with good reason.
To conceptualize it for fans, Rod's 6-foot brother was in full V for Vendetta costume,
like in August,
making egg in a basket, and also there was 1/5 of November where he smoke bombed the living room in full V for Vendetta costume. Also,
yes,
with actual functional daggers.
Yeah, a whole belt.
Those were dangerous, bro.
Word, that was so crazy. But he did get defeated by Punisher when we moved outside.
I hope there's photos of all this so we can fucking add it here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some digging.
I know there's photos. I know there's photos of Joey in the suit, but of the other stuff, I don't think we have evidence of. But he did do the egg in the basket for real. But damn, fuck. Fun-wise, I would say No. I would say Watchmen fun-wise. Story-wise, yo, V for Vendetta is a statement, bro. That shit is a film.
I've said it before. I'm sure I'll say it again right now for new listeners out there. I didn't like Watchmen the movie. I thought it was trash, and I thought it was an insult to Alan Moore's and Dave Gibbons' a vision of the book, because it was supposed to make fun in a way to comic books and how comic books are, make it more realistic. And the movie was super comic booky with fight scenes and crazy costumes, and like I didn't like that. But I would go with V for Vendetta. But I wanted to ask, but now, with the comparisons that we've added for Swamp Thing, the series, the one season, would that count as an Alan Moore adaptation or not really?
Damn, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't think it should be looked at as an adaptation of Alan Moore.
All right, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think
Which
there's
one?
still. I don't think that the Swamp Thing season 1 should be seen as a direct adaptation of Alan Moore's run, because I think there's still and we haven't even talked about the movies from the past. I don't see, but I remember watching.
Word.
But anyway, that's
Deep
true.
cut.
Oh my God!
But hopefully
right.
in the future, like they can do a proper adaptation if they are. I think we're gonna see Swamp Thing again in a Justice League Dark project that HBO Max is brewing, that I'm just fucking drooling over.
And also,
yeah.
I mean, considering the fact that, let's be honest here, all hell is breaking loose because of global warming, it's kind of apropos to start making Swamp Thing stuff. Like, yo, start pumping out all the Aquaman shit, pump out all the Swamp Man shit, make a fucking Aquaman Swamp Thing crossover. Like, let's get people caring about the environment.
Yeah, I wonder if they're homies.
You know what? That is a good fucking question. That'd be crazy.
I actually thought it was kind of cool too, like, because there was some element to that, no, in this, that where it felt like there's some I'm talking about, I don't remember if they outright said climate change, but they talked about like just like the environment and how important it is. I was like, fuck, like we're like talking and suffering from that right now, like in 84 or 82, whatever it was.
Facts, yo, they were talking about that shit. So that's 92, 2002, yo, 30 years, yo, we've done so much damage.
Almost 40. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I kept on reading past book 1. I saw an issue, I think Len Wein came in to write, and I kind of said, okay, let me take a little break now from Swamp Thing, but that's nothing bad against Len Wein. Just Alan Moore just had me enthralled in books 1 and 2. I think in book 3, I don't know how far this run goes for him, but yeah, I recommend it. Definitely a nice chunk of a comic book history.
Right, and for the
reading. And
for the fans out there, Len Wein is the creator of fucking Swamp Thing. So
shit.
we gotta give him some respect.
Damn, blasphemous.
Shout out.
Fuck.
It was writer Len
Wein
Wein and Bernie Wrightson were the ones that brought Swamp Thing to fucking life. So yeah.
Shout out to Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson.
Oh, actually, and fun fact, I think Len Wein also created Wolverine. So Matt respects the Len Wein.
Wait, see what I'm saying? I bet you he hasn't got any money off of all that Logan bread. Like,
or his family, because rest in peace, he passed away in 2017. Yeah,
rest in power. Facts.
Yeah,
but you see what I'm saying? Like his family could definitely use some Hugh Jackman money. Cut them $1 million deal, Hugh.
Yo!
You see what I'm saying?
Yo, for real. For fans out there, listen to our last episode, the fucking Titans and Suicide Squad episode. We go deep into this about how you got to respect fucking creatives in the comic books rather than give them just a $5,000 check, man. Shit.
Fuck that, yo. I'm a true fucking Joseph Justice warrior.
But I think especially for Wolverine, you got to cut mad checks, because if there's any character that's been built like piecemeal throughout the years, it's fucking Logan. Like, give Frank Miller a check too, right? Give fucking, who else is epic?
No, but what I mean is he created the character. So like his family, like a de facto $1 million. Do with it what you will. Minimum though. Give them $1 million. That's it. You know what I mean? Like before you start getting into like the abstract, apply Occam's razor. Like the person that created the character, their family, give them $1 million. Like,
yo, what? And you're but and like And I agree with Rod because obviously other writers have fucking really
facts.
developed fucking Wolverine to a further degree. But this is actually a term that I recently learned about, a term called Claremonting. Because so in the X-Men books we had Claremont wrote some of the epics. The fucking Phoenix Saga, fucking bunch of other ones. When they were in the Outback and all kinds of shit. But he left he planted seeds for plots for people to just fucking do whatever you want with it. He did Days of Future Past, and that kind of stuff. And for instance, that like Days of Future Past was like 2 issues and that was it. And that opened that fucking future world, like where mad writers have explored. And with Len Wein did the same thing. He created Wolverine with this ambiguous fucking background of he doesn't know his past, and we don't know much about him. And then it wasn't until much later on, until the Wolverine Origins after House of M, that led to fucking Wolverine really knowing his past and that kind of stuff. And so exactly, we gotta give credit to Len Wein, at least for giving us the fucking foundation for all these awesome stories, man. Because if the character would have sucked, nobody would have given a fuck. Nobody would have wanted to look into his past and that kind of shit.
Yeah, and give Hugh Jackman another $1 million.
Yes.
Damn, that would be the first. That would be the first arbitrary $1 million.
He got a movie on HBO Max right now. I was looking at it like, do I want to watch this?
Why not? Why you just dubbed?
I don't know. I don't watch random movies, man. I don't know.
What do you mean random? You mean other movies that are not good? What the fuck you mean random?
I'm gonna watch the Suicide Squad again. I'm gonna follow that up with the Air version.
You're gonna follow that up with the Spider-Man trilogy. That just rhyming and familiarity. Let's go.
Yeah, nostalgia, the most powerful drug.
Yo.
Then rewatch Batman the Animated Series for the upteenth time.
Nah. Just finish the rewatch.
I dare you to loop
let it sit.
I dare you to loop it. Just watch that shit.
All right. Yeah, exactly. What's next? Anything else on Swamp Thing, everybody? Or do we feel we covered all of it?
We're just gonna say I thoroughly enjoyed it. Will I keep exploring? It depends if I could get some more shit on Unlimited. I'm not paying for it, especially since I know that not a penny is going to Alan Moore directly.
I think book 2 is on Unlimited, I think.
Yep. Right? I downloaded it. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, then I definitely might keep going. But overall, I did enjoy it. Do I want to keep like aesthetically within this time period? Maybe not, just exclusively with this. But overall, I liked it a lot. I give my overall rating of this Swamp Thing arc that we read. If we're gonna rate it, I give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll go 8. Like way back when the New 52 launched, Scott Snyder and Paquette, I forget his first name, but they had like this really well-received Swamp Thing book. And I always thought like, I want to read this book, but I feel like I don't know enough about Swamp Thing to dive in. So I'm glad I got that.
Yeah,
like almost like the seminal Swamp Thing work out of the way. And I'll check this out again. So in case you guys were looking for something a bit more modern, check out that run.
Facts.
Yeah, no, me too. This is my first real proper Swamp Thing, and I've seen other books, and exactly, it feels like I don't know anything. I don't know if I'm gonna dive into this, and so I think it was good to dive into this. And now I'm a little more. I feel more prepared to read, and especially going with like Scott Snyder. Actually, Tom King wrote a few books, and I've been hearing good shit from the current writer, which is Ram V or Ram 5. I don't know how he says his name, who also wrote Justice League Dark. So he's been writing Swamp Thing there, and he's writing Swamp Thing's own individual book. I'm like, once it's on DC Universe Infinite, I'm gonna check it out.
Oh yeah, and one thing we kind of glossed over, so which is gonna make anyone who decides to read it any further pretty interesting. Swamp Thing's like essential powers that he's connected to all plant life on Earth, basically. So different writers play with that shit. Whoo! It gets nutty. So yeah. And my personal opinion, and I'm gonna keep doing this going forward every time we do this. Gotham PD better than Swamp Thing.
Gotham Central.
Gotham Central.
Gotham. I wasn't far off, but Gotham Central better than Swamp Thing.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I would have to agree too, because it's also they're very different, but it is because I can tell you, like, I don't know, it's also it is written in the early 80s, right? So it's like something about that I think makes it a little bit hard to immediately
facts.
click with it, no? Whereas Gotham Central was written, I think, in the early 2000s, I think, right? I don't remember what was it. But
late 90s, yeah.
But straight up enjoyment wise, because mind you, like neither story had fucking 4K Jim Lee art. So it's like just based on substance, like the story itself, Swamp Thing was epic, but I enjoyed Gotham Central more.
And I would give something book one, and I'm gonna give actually an 8.5 for that, for my review, because I was surprised how much I enjoyed it, because I remember the first two issues I felt a little bit hard to connect to it.
Oh my god, you're so right.
I'm thrown off of the art. There's a lot of back history there that I'm like, wait, do I care about Arcane? Who the fuck was he? But then when you get into the horror element of it, and I don't know, and then I really fucking, like, I don't know, I got into it. Like, I really got into the characters and the art, and how the art really helped to enhance the story. And actually, Rod, you were saying about the horror, not loving horror. I've been the same. But I've said this before. I highly recommend Immortal Hulk. After reading this book, it really reminded, while reading this book, really reminded me of Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing and Joe Bennett, which is a straight up, it's fucking horror, man. That book is horror, very like Swamp Thing, but imagine it like now. It's like fucking contemporaneous fucking stuff. And it's about to end. So I highly recommend you two guys to read that, and everybody out there listening and viewing us to get into that book too.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Yeah, I think it's on Unlimited. I was like browsing the other day, like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, get it. Get that first volume. Just see, if you don't like the first volume, you're gonna drop it, but you will like it.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it a solid 8. And I read it like back when we announced that we were gonna get into it, so I didn't have like the clearest memories of it, but I know that I kind of stopped on an issue, whereas with Gotham Central, I just finished the whole shit. Like, I couldn't put it down. So if that's the bar, like that has to be like a 9.
I mean,
or so.
that's pretty explanatory.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an
right
8.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Facts. And then, fans, we're gonna announce our next pick for the book club as soon as we settle on that shit. Because even we don't know. We fly by the seat of our pants here. That's how we do things. We're a Fortune 500 organization.
Let's do a fucking manga. You gotta say it like the geeks.
Fuck.
Do a manga.
And we are having an anime episode soon, so stay tuned for that.